And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the wide receiver week 2 preview on the Grade A Flicks channel for another episode of Grade A Flicks and Grade A Fantasy. Reviewing the wide receiver position on week 2 for FanDuel. Let's get right into it. We all know, we all know that popular plays when you see up top automatically is Amon-Ra St. Brown. High point total, like I said, I like to attack Tampa Bay's defensive backfield. With no Puka Nacua, let's keep it real. You go right down there. Those are the top 2 plays. They're going to be the most popular plays. The fact that Cooper Kupp is not even over 8,000, Cooper Kupp is still going to get ownership, whether if he was over 8,000 or not. But it's just that he's going to get even that much more. Excuse me. Going from 7,000 to 77, going against a defense like Arizona. So automatically, I know it sounds weird to say this, but CeeDee Lamb, most likely people like CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson are going to be tournament plays and low-owned tournament plays. And if those guys are going to be low-owned, because let's be real, not a lot of people are going to have Amon-Ra St. Brown against CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, New Orleans is a good defense, but I don't like them on the road. Most importantly, their best defensive back, their best DB, Marshawn Lattimore, I think is dealing with an injury. If he plays, he won't be 100%. Might be ruled out. I definitely like CD as a counter to those 2 pieces of chalk. But yeah, definitely without a doubt, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Cooper Kupp will be leading ownership. Other than that, Justin Jefferson, you can also look at him as a tournament upside play. He has a chance to blow up the slate. Yes, San Francisco's not the best match, of course not, but still, it's still Justin Jefferson. When it comes to other big plays, I love Garrett Wilson this week. Once again, I do not give a damn what y'all saw. Tennessee is a bad defensive backfield. I don't care what they did. They're going to face a lot more talent here than they did against Chicago. Better quarterback. Mike Evans, like I said, he's in a great spot. He's at 8,000. I think he's not going to be as popular. He's still going to be owned. I just don't think he's going to be just as popular. I think in that shootout majority, you could kind of consider him a tier 2 tournament play. Because this week, I think it's going to be Chris Godwin. That's going to be, I think a lot of people are going to, because a lot of people do feel like how I feel. Detroit's defense plays better at home. The defensive backfield for Tampa Bay is not that good. So you're going to go with Amon-Ra, maybe with a stack or something with Golf. Or if you don't stack, you might go with 2 wide receivers. Or you might go Amon-Ra Laporta or Amon-Ra Gibbs and bring it back with somebody like Godwin, because Godwin is still affordable and he plays the slot. If you watch the game, they got killed in the slot. Chris Godwin, Cooper Kupp, 2 of the best that operate in the slot in the league. So 6,200 is easier to fit. So obviously to flip that, if you feel Evans can still get some deep throws and outplay Godwin, that's why there's a lot of pay-up options this week. Besides the ones that are in popular games, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson. I like Garrett Wilson this week against Tennessee, and I think Mike Evans are, compared to the way things are going to be predicted automatically, they're already leverage of what you can get to beat these other cheap stacks. Because automatically, I can already see Amon-Ra, Chris Godwin, and Cooper Kupp. I don't have an optimizer myself, but the way I analyze things, common sense tells me those guys will be in the top 5 of ownership for the wide receiver position. They have to be. If not top 5, maybe Godwin somewhere in the top 7, because his price is still amazing to get to and easy to get to. Very easy to get to. You could get yourself a high-priced wide receiver, a high-priced running back with a decent price quarterback, and you can still fit him in. So I definitely like that. But like I said, there's a couple of guys there. Those main guys I think are going to be the top options. Now, other options as we scroll down. Nico and Diggs both had a lot of volume. What's the counterpart to that? Like I said, a lot of people are going to chase what they saw in week 1. So the counterpart to that is you might want to go down to Tank Dell. Basically, they're both the same price. Nico and Stephon Diggs, 76.75. So the counteraction to that is going down to somebody like Tank Dell. There goes Chris Godwin. Like I said, 62 still easy. Tank Dell is damn near 6,000. He's at 61. That's leverage right there. Like I said, it's a solid matchup. With no CMC, I understand where the chalk is going for running back. Like I said, it's leaning towards that way where there will be no CMC. But like I said, we'll wait. I'm going to wait to do the running back show later in the week. But as we go back there, another one of my favorite players this week, because like I said, he gets carries out the backfield. He's a dual threat. I think you cannot forget about Deebo Samuel. I understand cost-effective-wise, DFS-wise, Jordan Mason is probably going to be the number one player of the week. But even with that, I think I could counteract with what Deebo could do in the air and on the ground. So I'm definitely not going to forget about Deebo Samuel. When it comes to other top plays that I feel that you should pay attention to against New England. Yeah, New England defense did their thing or whatever, but they did their thing against a half-assed built defense in Cincinnati. So I'm not going to lie. Around the industry, a lot of people feel like this is going to be the lowest you're going to get DK Metcalf all season. So I think he's a great play at 66, even though he's a great play this week. Not every slate is the same. And yes, that offense did look bad. But I think a lot of offenses after the first week are going to look really good after sputtering. Like I said, a lot of teams look horrible not playing in the preseason. But I think a full game of actual regular season action should shake that off. Excuse me. If we go down further, my next favorite play, another suspect defensive backfield. I don't really believe in them. Like I said, they try to hold their best, but I think Marvin Harrison Jr. has the potential with a healthy Kyler Murray to attack the Los Angeles Rams. I think that's a sneaky game. I don't think people are giving that game enough credit. These are two defenses that are not that great. This is the contrarian game that I think people need to pay attention to. I will be. Let's think about it. Los Angeles Rams, subpar defense. There's no more Aaron Donald. You saw how, even though they shut down Amon-Ra St. Brown, they were still getting attacked through the air. They were still getting attacked on the ground. That defense is not the same. I understand Josh Allen did attack Arizona, but Arizona, they started out hot. Guess what? Second half adjustments, Buffalo went from putting up, 6 or 10 points in the first half, and they ended up coming back. That's the sneaky game, ladies and gentlemen. I love Kupp. Not only do I like DeMarcus Robinson for the budget, but Marvin Harrison. And once again, if you remember what I told y'all in my video, when I talked about the value opening up with the Zay Jones suspension, he didn't score a touchdown, but Greg Dortch was the main guy getting the attention, as we'll talk about that later. Wilson, he scored a touchdown, fine. But I told you guys Greg Dortch is the more consistent guy. He basically doubled both of his props. On Underdog Fantasy, I was like, you could take his props even though it's flat. It went from 2.5, it closed at 3. He ended up with 6. He had a prop at 29.5. It kept bouncing between 27.5 or 29.5. In my Underdog Fantasy video, he ended up doubling that, almost 2.5x in that prop. I'm telling you, Greg Dortch, if Greg Dortch scores the touchdown that Michael Wilson got, then he's pretty much optimal for his price. And you definitely could have used him. He still doesn't have the big game that Jameson Williams had. But if you had him early in there, you was definitely looking good. Plus, he was basically $1,000 cheaper than Jameson. So maybe you was able to pay up for somebody to compensate for the Jameson Williams points that you didn't get. But like I said, I definitely will pat myself on the back on that one. Greg Dortch is somebody that you can't forget about. We'll keep scrolling down. I like the value that Malik Neighbors is going to get. I understand the Giants stink. I understand Daniel Jones stink. But I keep telling y'all, Washington's defense stink. So, Malik Neighbors, with the volume that he gets, he's DFS viable. Can the Giants win that game? Yeah, they can. Can they also blow it? Yeah, so they damn sure can. Amari Cooper is definitely one of those players that I find that will have a bounce back week 2 against an easier matchup against Jacksonville. I like Zay Flowers' matchup this week. I understand people think the Baltimore Ravens are going to run the ball a lot, but there are games where if he doesn't have to run, guess what? He's going to throw because I understand King Henry's King Henry, but guess what? King Henry's not getting 25 to 30 something carries. Lamar's going to throw that ball, and he's definitely going to throw that ball to Likely. He's going to throw it to Mark Andrews, but I definitely think Zay Jones is going to have an even better game. I definitely like Zay Jones. Wow. Zay Flowers this week. We already spoke about Chris Godwin. I think his ownership is going to be through the roof. I think Tank Dell is the contrarian piece that y'all might want to get to against Chicago. As we keep scrolling down, I don't really like any of this here. I mean, you could throw lottery tickets at it or whatever, but don't sleep on the Cleveland defense against Jacksonville, so I'm not really there. But when it comes to top plays, I'm going to go all the way down and talk about possibilities. I mean, Deontay Johnson is a good play, but his quarterback play is suspect. Wan'Dale Robinson. The reason why I like Wan'Dale Robinson is because remember it's a Greg Dortch play. He gets a lot of targets and he has a bigger rapport than the rookie neighbors on the Giants. He ended up with I think almost 9 double digits in targets or whatever. So for 5,400, if he can go 5,400 and go 8 out of 8 and against a Washington defense, maybe get into the end zone or get a few more yardage and score in the double digits. He's good for cash games, possibly. On top of that, Jalen McMillan in a high value game. Jalen McMillan did get some targets. I watched that game extensively because, like I said, on top of Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield was the stack. He was the quarterback that I owned the most, and they went to him early. Yes, he caught a late touchdown and everything, but he got targets. And if Baker doesn't like what he sees with Evans, if he's tightly, closely guarded, and he's not giving it to Chris Godwin on the other side in the slot, Jalen McMillan has the opportunity to get some deep throws. Like I said, every time they went to Jalen, it was something deep. It wasn't nothing short. So for 5,200, Jalen McMillan definitely looks good. Like I said, DeMarcus Robinson with the Puka Nacua injury has a great matchup with Arizona. That's definitely good right there at 5,200. If we keep scrolling down, the only thing that I like here, like I said, once again, you see fantasy points per game. He got 7. I'm telling y'all, Michael Wilson, this was his stats. 2 targets, a reception, 5 receiving yards. I gave y'all the option of saying, like, yeah, you can pick him, but I also told y'all to get Greg Dortch. Greg Dortch is right there next to him, 4,900. He only went up a couple $100. Here's his game log. I told y'all he's the more reliable one. 8 targets, 6 for 47. He just didn't get the touchdown. But still 8.1 FanDuel points for 4,900. If he gets a touchdown this week, which is possible, Greg Dortch is probably optimal. I'm not giving on Greg Dortch. Greg Dortch will be one of the guys that I will still go this far to get value. If I need to, I think after Greg Dortch, you don't really need to go down any further than that. There are two. There are two, yes, because they are liable. I'm sorry, I'm sounding very congested. I apologize for that. There are 2 people that I do like as lottery throws, and then we're going lottery dart throws. We're going all the way down. There could be one of those times where it does happen, and Lamar's forced out the pocket to scramble. He doesn't see Zay. He can't get to his tight end. Nelson Aguilar. This is one of those games where Nelson Aguilar is going to get one of the lower valued defensive backs of the Las Vegas Raiders. I think that's a nice little dart throw right there. Like one little 2 or 3 targets per game, and if he gets something like a touchdown, he's capable of doing that. Also there, Luke McCaffrey with Jaden Downs with the bad Giants defense. That's also possible as well. That's the furthest I'm going with lottery tickets. But wide receiver, there's a lot of opportunity, and there's still value there. I think to go against the Kupp, Evans, pretty much the Lions Bucks ownership. I like going to the Jets. I love that opportunity. I'll have him, but I'm not gonna chase the Allen Lazard game. Like I say, he did score a late garbage touchdown. Game script changed that up. I think Garrett Wilson is one of those guys, like DK Metcalf, like a Zay Flowers. They're in the range for a bounce back game. But that is the end of the wide receiver preview. Coming soon, or pretty much coming up next, I'm going to work on it next, will be the tight end. What will be the tight end preview for week 2. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. Please comment. This is Grade A Fantasy, signing off.